Hey there, legendary savers! Welcome back to Legend Finance, your ultimate money mentor. Today, we're unlocking the mystery of credit cards. We'll delve into ingenious strategies, discuss risks, and reveal the potential rewards. Ready to transform that little piece of plastic into your personal gold mine? Well, hold on tight because they're about to set you on the path to credit card profits. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all our financial wisdom. Let's get started. When we're talking about using credit cards to actually make money, there are two key things that we need to have a clear understanding of. First, we should know when our due date is, and second, we should be aware of our statement date. Now let's unpack these a bit more, starting with the concept of the due date. So the due date is the day when our credit card company expects us to make at least the minimum payment on any balance we owe from our past usage. Let's say, for example, that we spent $1,000 on our credit card last month. On our due date, the minimum requirement might be to pay just $50. Now, although they only require us to pay the minimum, we highly recommend that we clear off the full $1,000 if we can. So that's how the due date works. All right, now let's delve into what exactly the statement date is. Let's imagine a scenario with a generic credit card. On this card, our due date lands on the first day of every month. Our statement period then ends on the 4th of each month, and right after that, a new statement period or the beginning date starts on the 5th. These are the key dates we need to keep in mind to understand how to make them work in our favor and possibly earn some money. Let's pretend we have a side business where we buy and sell collectible items, say vintage comic books. Now, imagine we bought comic books worth $15,000 on August 5th. With the terms of our credit card, we wouldn't have to make a payment on that $15,000 until October 1st. That's nearly 2 whole months before we'll need to cough up the payment for the $15,000 we spend on comic books for our hypothetical business. You might be thinking, what's going on here? Well, let's walk through it together. Our statement cycle begins on the 5th and ends on the 4th of the next month. So let's say we buy our vintage comic books on August 5th using our credit card. Our statement period then ends on September 4th, giving us a 30-day period where we've spent $15,000 but haven't yet incurred any interest or had to make any payments. Then, when our credit card company sends us our statement, we're not required to make the payment on that $15,000 until October 1st. So even though our statement for the $15,000 drops on September 4th, we actually get a total of around 55 to 57 days of interest-free use of that money. We essentially get to use this money for free without incurring any interest, which is pretty cool. Plus, the cash that we would have used to buy the comic books can stay put, either invested in the market or resting in a high-yield savings account, without us needing to touch it. But there were even more advantages here. By smartly managing our due date and statement date, we can also boost our credit score. You might be wondering how that works. So here's the thing. If we're using our credit card and paying it off in full every month, this will show up as a positive on our credit report and should boost our credit score, provided we're managing all our other credit responsibly as well. This is an example of good credit card utilization. We're always carrying a zero balance on our card because we're consistently paying it off before the due date. This should lead to a rise in our credit score. Additionally, we're likely to see an increase in our credit limit over time. Why? Because once our credit card company sees that we're using their card and always paying it off in full, they'll want us to use the card more often. And the reason behind this is simple. As we know, credit card companies make their money in a couple of different ways, or at least 2 key ways. The 2 main ways credit card companies make money are through interest on carried over balances and transaction fees. So when we spend, say, $15,000 on collectible comic books using our card, the merchant who accepts the card gets charged a fee by the credit card company. So they make a nice little margin just because the merchant accepts our card for payment. Now you might wonder why they would want to increase our credit limit. Well, it's because they want us to use the card more frequently. If we're using it responsibly and paying it off like we've discussed, they'll often increase our limit every 6 to 12 months. They might offer us an increase, or sometimes they'll just raise it on their own initiative. Plus, we also have the option to request an increase to our credit limit, just like we've hypothetically done in this example. This is another advantage of managing our credit card usage wisely. So in our hypothetical scenario, let's pretend we have a credit card with generous benefits and a substantial credit line of around $50,000. This card becomes a useful tool because its high limits give us the flexibility to make significant purchases, like buying $15,000 or $20,000 worth of vintage comic books, while providing us with a grace period or float of 50 to 57 days where no money leaves our pocket and no interest is charged. This is one way we could use credit cards to earn money. However, it's crucial to remember that strategic credit card usage relies on us having a safety net of cash at our disposal to pay off the credit card if necessary. If we can't sell our products in time and the card payment comes due, we must be ready to pay it off in full. So we always keep a safe cash reserve and suggest you do the same. If you're looking to start a side hustle or set up a traditional business, or if you're already selling a product or service but lack sufficient capital, then using a credit card like we've discussed can help you add capital to your venture. Just remember, it's vital to use this strategy responsibly and always have a plan to pay off your card balance. Indeed, with the extra capital from your credit card, you could potentially buy more product inventory or market your services to a broader audience. And if you manage it right, you get 55 to 57 days of interest-free use of that money. It's like free capital. Imagine you put $15,000 into buying vintage comic books and manage to turn a $3,000 profit within those 55 to 57 days. You even made $3,000 without any out-of-pocket expenses or credit card interest. It's a pretty exciting prospect, right? This is why we enjoy the strategy of using credit cards this way. We're not out of pocket. We get almost 60 days before we need to pay the bill, and the cherry on top is the potential profit we could make within those 55 to 57 days. This is how we could potentially use credit cards to make money, given the right circumstances and careful management. Remember, this is a hypothetical scenario, and everyone's situation can be different, so always consider your own circumstances and seek financial advice if necessary. And there you have it, my financial warriors. We've just unlocked the secret to making money with credit cards, and will change how you think about those little plastic powerhouses. But let's not forget that with great power comes great responsibility. Credit cards can be a double-edged sword, so it's crucial to use them wisely. Pay your bills on time, keep those balances in check, and avoid the interest rate beast. Now, armed with this knowledge, you have the tools to navigate personal finance like a boss. Take charge of your financial destiny, seize the opportunities credit cards offer, and watch your wealth grow. Embrace the legendary within you. Let your credit cards become an extension of your financial prowess, empowering you to achieve greatness. No more limitations. You hold the key to prosperity. So go forth and make your mark on the world of finance. We believe in you, and we're rooting for your success. Stay legendary, stay smart, and together, we are a force to be reckoned with. Remember, the power is in your hands. Harness it, wield it, and let your financial dreams become your reality. And as always, stay legendary.